You know, this has to be the most bizarre and protracted legal case in financial history, maybe in any history. Former AIG CEO Hank Greenberg settling a 12-year legal case with New York State for about $9 million. Now, you might look at that and say $9 million. This started out with them looking at a $5 billion settlement, and then it was going to be a multi-$100 million settlement, then it was down to $50 million. $9 million when all is said and done. And you're wondering, wait a minute, AIG was that huge insurance financial conglomerate that was forced into this sort of odd position where it had to fold its tent. A lot of people lost their jobs. Of course, it was rescued by the government. But was any of that ever necessary? We'll never know, because that was then. This is now. Former AIG CEO Hank Greenberg is with us. We call, by the way, both the current New York Attorney General, Eric Schneiderman, former New York Attorney General Elliot Spitzer, as well as Governor. No comment, no response. But we do have the guy in the center of all of this with us, Hank Greenberg. Hank, good to see you.
Good to see you, Neil.
How did the $9 million figure?
Well, there was a mediator. And
right, Ken Feinberg, right?
Yeah, and there was 2 months of back and forthing, and that's his decision. What
was the issue here? That you misled in that, or that accounting hanky-panky? What was it?
Well, it was 2 issues left out of I think it was 9. 7 went away, and with it, much of the demand they were making. The 2 issues left, they were arguing that I misled, did a fraudulent deal. Fact is, nothing has ever happened. We wanted to do a deal with General Re.
Right, the reinsurer.
Yeah, a Warren Buffett company.
Mm-hmm.
That we wanted a portfolio of about $500 million in premium, and all you needed under that in 2000, called the finite reinsurance transaction, 1% risk factor. Okay. Unbeknownst to us, and certainly to me, they had reinsured that same portfolio someplace else and gave us a phony deal. I didn't know about that until 2005, when I had left the company, after Spitzer, having talked to Warren Buffett, came after me.
And it was relentless, right? I mean, then Spitzer becomes governor. We all know what happened to him,
yeah.
prostitutes in Washington, and then, of course, Schneiderman takes on this case. But I'm wondering, how did it go from $5 billion in damages, then to $50 million, and now $9 million?
Well, the 50, first of all, the $5 billion, was, in my judgment, was an inflated number, obviously. Quite inflated, you know, and that's what always happens. And the $50 million, many of the things that they were arguing went away. They was not so.
So why did you even pay the $9 million? Why, just nuisance?
Well, I agreed to mediation after 12 years, okay, and we had tried to get it before to mediate to get the thing over with, and the AG they refused.
Right.
We went to court, and we were trying the case, and I think they recognized that case was going to blow up in front of them. They had very little. Really.
But it all goes back to something that's weird in New York, this Martin Act, right? That
yes.
lets prosecutors prove civil fraud without showing intent to deceive. So prosecutors can go after you, and a simple accounting inaccuracy can be deemed almost criminal.
That's exactly right.
And that is what you acknowledge, an inaccuracy in 2 accounting areas, right?
It wasn't an accounting error on my part.
Right.
Gen Re withheld the information to us and gave us a portfolio that had been with somebody.
So you took the bullet for that. You still have a defamation suit going against Spitzer, right? And what do you hope to do there?
I hope to have him pay for the defamation of character that he had been talking about publicly.
How much?
I forget what the number is. David Boy's.
Is it more than the $9 million that you paid?
I would think so.
Okay. You know, that whole period, when we go back to that, was sort of like the epicenter that when AIG was rescued to the tune of $185 billion, you would argue that would have been totally unnecessary had you still been at the helm.
There's no question about it.
What makes you so sure of that?
Because
everything was imploding, right?
Yeah, but we were managing the company. We had meetings every week on our financial exposure. It wasn't something that we did
But how do you know if you had been there that the same implosion would have been happening, because the fast market meltdown, good and bad companies alike were being taken down?
We built the biggest insurance company in history. Okay, we had the tools, we had the people, we had the systems. In fact, Paulson, the ex-secretary of Treasury, on the stand under oath, said the same thing, that it never would have happened if I'd been in the company. Why
didn't you settle early? I mean, you were not going to do that, and obviously you're convinced of your innocence, as you are now. But why not then? And most people, well, back in the day, I'm going back even 12 years ago, when Elliot Spitzer came after you, most people didn't ask questions. They settled. You did not. Right back then, that was long before the meltdown. You know, so what was it? Well, so slow down. First of all, he did more. He threatened me. He threatened the company with a criminal action. What really happened here was Spitzer. I was on a conference call with security analysts when one of them asked me, "What's the regulatory environment like today?" And I said, "A footfall is like a murder charge." Okay? Sitting in his office, in Spitzer's office, was the ex-attorney general, who was representing a client. And one of Spitzer's deputies came in and said, "Did you hear what Greenberg said to security analysts?" And pointed to him and said, "I said that he was guilty of that." He said, "I'm going to take Greenberg down in front of his ex-attorney general." We have that in affidavit. He hated you? Yeah. And you hated him? After what he tried to do, absolutely. Look, what he did, he destroyed he virtually destroyed a great company. It's half the size that it was, apart from that. Pension funds, investors all lost tons of money. Tons of money. The company, I started out when we went public with $300 million of market cap. When I left, it was $180 billion. Okay? It's the largest insurance company in history. We were a national asset. We operated in 137 countries. That was a very valuable asset. That's gone. Completely. Do you think any of this could happen again? It depends. You know, under the Martin Act, with the wrong attorney general, absolutely. What about nationally? Another, you know, as you know, President Trump is redoing Dodd-Frank. What do you think of that? Yeah, but different beast. I know. Also, Neil, this is the only state in the United States that has this law. It doesn't exist in the federal law. It's the only state that has this. It's disgraceful. Where technicality becomes such a criminal act. Yeah. So you're not giving up this fight. You're still going after Spitzer. Have you heard from his office? No. Do you think you will soon? I don't think so. Hank Greenberg, thank you very, very much. We're on top of that. Hope you